Can everyone hear me? Awesome. So welcome and thank you for attending our virtual job fair, specifically for CCAs, LPNs, RNs, and in-home support workers. We would love for everyone to join via video if possible, so you can enable your video if you have that option. And we've also enabled the chat feature where we'll accept questions, but you can hold those until a bit later. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, and we have a lot of time set aside for that, so don't worry. So we do want to let you know that we will be recording the main portion of this Zoom virtual job fair, and we may possibly share it on our website. So if you don't want your participation to be shown, you can email me. I'm the one who sent you the login information, so you could just respond to that email and say, please don't feature me in your video. And you could let me know by Friday. So I want to introduce you to some of the faces joining us this morning from our existing team. So they include Krista, Selena, and Jackie, who are our neighborhood managers who lead our care teams at Ocean View. We have Jacob, who's our Director of Human Resources and Facilities. And we have Leanne, who's our Facility Support Manager at the Burgess. And myself, I'm Laura Kay, and I am the PR and Communications Manager for Ocean View and the Burgess. So you may be wondering why we're doing a virtual job fair and not just posting jobs and accepting resumes like most other organizations. We were really excited about the idea of doing something virtual like this because we know these are unique times. And we've been conducting a lot of our interviews by phone, but we know it's nice for job seekers to get some visual face-to-face sense of us before they join us. And it's also really nice for us to get to meet you over video as well. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye to make sure no one else is waiting to join us. So welcome. Over the next little while, we're going to hear a bit about Ocean View and the Burgess as a whole from me. I'm going to share this with you actually. We're going to see a video featuring some perspectives from frontline staff and clients. Then we'll hear a little bit about what guides us as we care for seniors. We'll hear some key information from Jacob about what it's like to work with us. And then last but not least, we'll have the opportunity for the Q&A. So starting from the beginning, I'm the lucky one who gets to give you a brief overview of who we are. And so I personally have been working for Ocean View and the Burgess for almost 3 years. And in that time, I've been so impressed by everyone's passion. I'm really proud to work with this amazing group of people. We always pull together to get the job done and keep our clients safe. People often say that our teams are more like family than they are a bunch of coworkers. And to me, that's a really important part of who we are. But Ocean View and the Burgess have been around a lot longer than I have. So Ocean View has been serving local seniors in Eastern Passage for 60 years now. And the Burgess has been serving seniors in Musquodoboit Harbor for more than 40 years. And so one of the things you need to know about our work is that we are a charitable organization, which means our goal is not to make a profit. So both nursing homes are guided by volunteer board of directors, and whenever our work does generate a profit or revenue of any kind, that money goes back into supporting seniors. So that's a nice thing about us. Both long-term care homes are among the largest employers in their two communities, and both have a reputation for excellence in care and for innovation. So about 5 years ago, these two long-term care homes decided to join forces to share a lot of our management and administrative supports to strengthen both organizations. But both organizations and both frontline staff groups still remain separate. So in your job search, you would apply to either Ocean View or the Burgess to work in a long-term care environment. Depending on your interests and skills, you may also apply to work in one of our community support roles. So about 5 years ago, we also added community supports to our umbrella of our work. And our community supports operate under a social enterprise model, which basically means we go out into the community, we offer needed services to seniors who are still living in their homes, and they pay a modest price for those services, and then the profits go back into our nursing home and into supporting local seniors. So staff who work in those roles include in-home support workers and foot care nurses. So overall, the idea of Ocean View and the Burgess and community supports might sound a little confusing, but the most important thing to know is that the overall umbrella of our work is made up of people working in a lot of different roles, in a lot of different ways, and even technically in different companies, but all with the end goal of supporting local seniors. So I think one of the greatest testaments to what it's like working with us is that we have lots of staff who have been with the Burgess and Ocean View for 20, 25, even 30 years. And we even have 2 volunteers who have been with us for more than 40 years. So if people are sticking around that long, there must be something pretty special about the atmosphere in these 2 homes. So we're excited to learn more about you and to have you learn more about us, and hopefully have you join this amazing team for many, many years. Come for 30, stay and smile. It's really meaningful and important work. As you know, our populations are aging around the world, and that's very true in Nova Scotia. We have one of the oldest populations in the country, so what we do is very meaningful. And so now I'm going to share a slide that contains some of our current job opportunities. So as you can see, there are lots of opportunities to join our team as a CCA, LPN, or RN. And as I mentioned, we also have the in-home support worker role in our community supports, which we are hiring for often. We aren't actively hiring for that role at this very moment, but if you submitted your resume for that role, we would keep it on file for when we're next hiring. So I've said a bit about our work, but I'm only one person, and we thought it would be also really great to show you what some other staff and clients had to say about us. I have a few videos I'm going to share throughout the morning that focus specifically on Ocean View, but as you watch them, I invite you to think about the Burgess and our community work as well, because the values, ethics, and heart described in the videos really do represent all of what we do. So this first video will give you an overall perspective of our work and our beliefs.
I love working at Ocean View because I feel I belong here. I feel like I'm part of the family.
I find that the staff is professional, they're courteous, and I think they just love their jobs.
Everyone in the building works together as a unit, and it's a very beautiful place to work.
They make you feel really comfortable, like just off the get-go. When you first start, everybody's super welcoming and they treat the residents so well, and like you actually like make friendships working here.
There seems to be a camaraderie among the staff, and it seems to be a team approach. You know, it seems to be. No, there is a team approach. We see that.
They are so loving. It sounds so corny, but that's the best word I can think of to describe the way the staff is. They care so deeply for their residents.
everybody kicks in and helps one another here at Ocean View, and I think it's an awesome team. And I'm really pleased to work with them on a daily basis. I just see the great care that everybody receives and how happy everybody is.
I have such a great team to work with. We're such great collaborators. We have an awesome interdisciplinary team, and we have really good management that support us.
I tell all my friends to apply at Ocean View. It's so rewarding. It's not just work. I enjoy coming here. It's not a chore for me to come here.
When I go home at night, I feel so happy that I've helped somebody and made somebody's day.
A commitment to care.
Respect.
Providing meaningful activities.
Involving families.
Encouraging independence.
Home-like environment.
Promoting personal choices.
Putting residents first.
That's my Ocean View.
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 Now I'm going to turn my focus to our long-term care work specifically and what guides us as we care for seniors. So Shelley, our Senior Director of In-Care Living, was unable to join us today, but I have a bit of a pre-recorded audio from her to share, and then I'll show another short video with some thoughts from frontline members of our care team. There we go.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Laura. I was just getting a kick out of the video because that was obviously prior to COVID when nobody had on masks. What a world that was just a little while ago. So I'm the Senior Director of In-Care Living, and that's a long title. That means that I'm the Director of the nursing home portion of Ocean View. So a lot of the jobs that you saw listed are under my purview. And really, I could talk forever. So about what we do, what we want to achieve, the goals that we have, working together as a team. I think probably for today, one of the most important things that you need to know is that we really do focus on client-centered care. And there's a number of things that fit under that umbrella. Just like Laura said, the comfort care, compassion, autonomy, respect. There's, so many avenues that we could go down to ensure that our residents are safely cared for, that they're providing the input that we need to be able to do care plans that are meaningful to them. Not only meaningful to them, but meaningful to their families, so their families know that they're safe, and we're incorporating their lifestyle, their needs, their wants into everything that we do throughout our day. It's really a holistic goal, but I don't think that if I explained it as a holistic environment that we would really capture what we do, because we do that not only for our residents, but it's a holistic and client-centered care for sure, but we also make sure that our staff are having the workplace balance that they need, and they're getting the respect that they need. One of the most important things is to make sure that our residents are getting what they need, but we can't provide that if we don't know what our staff are needing, what they are getting, and what they're not. So you're just as important. You're a magical piece of the puzzle that allows us to be able to be the wonderful place that we are. I've worked in long-term care and palliative care pretty much for my whole career, for the past 16 years. And many different environments. And I can tell you that long-term care in general is what I enjoy. It's my passion. It's where I need to be. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And I would like everybody else to experience that. And whether it's just a short-term visit because you're here for a little while and moving on to do something else, that's great. But our residents need and want, and the families have the desire to put someone that they love very much into our care. So that's something that we take very seriously. So we'll talk a lot about that. I'm sure that everyone who is going to be speaking to you today will talk about respect and caring, the fact that we work together as a team, not only in Ocean View, but our families expect us to be able to provide activities that are important to them, be able to provide outdoor activities, and really give them the life that they deserve and they want, as they're living in our facility. I know that you may have a lot of questions, and like I said, I could talk forever. And I said before we started, if I start to talk about something, I can talk forever. So I want to keep it very broad, just to introduce who I am. That the staff that we have are kind and compassionate. I love that word, Laura, because you have to have compassion for the people that you work for, especially in the very personal way that we do our jobs.
I have worked at Ocean View for almost 9 years. I came over from the Philippines. I'm so proud of our staff. We are like working as a family. There is union, and there's a saying like in union, there's strength, and that's what we are getting here, the strength as one big family.
My name is Tracy, and I work as a licensed practical nurse. I think the reason that Ocean View has such a long history of excellent care is because the genuine feel of community. You become family with the residents, and it's a very welcoming place. It's warm, it's cozy, no crystal chandeliers, but we do have comfort here. For me, the most rewarding part of this job is the giving and the receiving of love. That's my Ocean View.
So that's a bit of a perspective on our care team and what it's like to work at Ocean View. Now I'm gonna hand it over to Jacob. Oh, can you guys hear that? My video's playing again. A few hiccups over here. Now I'm gonna hand it over to Jacob, and he's gonna tell us about some key pieces of information about working with us from the HR perspective. Do I have to unmute you, Jacob?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right on. So welcome, everyone. I think the first thing that I'll go through before I talk about some of the benefits is the CCA role, which in most cases is really the backbone of what we do. It's the largest numbers of workforce that we have, and they provide all the activities of daily living with our residents. So there always seems to be confusion, especially for people that aren't in Nova Scotia, as to how you qualify to be a CCA. I get lots of resumes, and people go, "I'm very qualified for the role. Please hire me." Or I'm doing the same role in Ontario or BC. Unfortunately, the way it works in Nova Scotia, there's a couple of hurdles to jump first. In Nova Scotia, we can only hire people that are actually a certified continuing care assistant, which means they actually take the CCA program in Nova Scotia, write the exam, and receive their certification. There are a couple of other classifications that we can hire in the CCA role as well, but they're also Nova Scotia certifications, and that would be a personal care worker, which was the predecessor to the CCA, the home health provider, home health aide, and home support worker. If you're a PSW, personal support worker from Ontario, you would have certification from there in that role. But when you come to Nova Scotia, you would have to enter into what we call the PLAR program, which is the Prior Learning Assessment Program. So what that does is it assesses what your previous experience is, life experiences, educational experiences, and all that. And then they say, oh, okay, well, we'll give you credit for 6 modules. So you may have to write 2 or 1 or 5 or go through those to actually get prepared to become a CCA. So if anybody doesn't hold the CCA certification, PSW, or those other three that I mentioned, you have to enter into the PLAR program, and then we can look at making an offer. Now, right now, under the pandemic situation that we're in, I guess the best way to say it, they've kind of reversed that a little bit. We can make an offer of hire to get you into the program, the PLAR program, but it would be contingent on you getting to that level where we can actually bring you on. So if anyone's in that situation, we will have a Q&A at the end of this, and you can ask me some more questions about that, because that one always seems to come up. And I know it's frustrating for people that are applying, because you are, I mean, I've had people just in New Brunswick, just across the border, who have PSW over there, and unfortunately they don't qualify instantly to walk through the door and become a CCA. So there's a little bit of legwork that has to be done for that. So some of the other benefits of working with Ocean View are we provide a health plan, we provide dental plans. That's all, they're very good plans. In fact, our health plan, we pay 65% of the monthly premium. The employees pay 35%. We cost share dental 50-50. We have optional optional life insurance, death and dismemberment, critical care. We have a pension plan that if you're full-time, you have to go in, but it is a defined benefit plan. And the Birches has that as well. They have a different pension plan, but it's similar style. They have the exact same medical plan and dental plan. We also have good vacation for people. I think at both sites, it's around 12 paid holidays throughout the year. You know, we have different shifts. We have, 12s, we have 8s, depending on the role that you're in. Even in our kitchen, which we don't have anyone on right now, there's 4-hour shifts. We try to work with people as much as we can to find a shift that works for them and support them through that. We usually do 5 shifts for orientation, but if we see that someone needs more, we certainly are more than willing to, help people make sure that they're, acquainted with the home and the work that needs to be done. And I think the most important thing is that all of our managers have an open door policy. So if you need us, you need to speak to us, we're there for you. We also have EFAP. So if you're going through a rough time, it's a confidential way of you reaching out to a support system that can help you through that rough time. It's free to you as the employee, and again, it's completely 100% confidential. So that's just some of the stuff that we offer. And then we've got little things like, we make sure that there's ice machines and water machines on the neighborhoods, especially during this, hot summer. And we've got a cafe. And at the Birches, they've got, they're adjoined to a hospital, so they've got a cafeteria next door. Both sites offer free parking, little things like that. We are pet friendly. So at Ocean View, we've got some rabbits and some cats now, and I think we had birds. I don't know that they're still around. Are they? No, I didn't think so. But we've had those, and I know we're looking at some pets for the Birches as well. So, again, we're trying to make it as home-like as we can for our residents, and they love them. And when I first went to Ocean View back in 2003, they had a cat who used to come into my office and lay down on my keyboard from a computer. So it was kind of hard to type, but it was nice. It was really nice. So that's kind of some of the benefits of working with both Ocean View and the Birches. And again, we can discuss anything further at the Q&A.
Thanks, Jacob.
You're welcome.
So I think now we'll move on to the Q&A portion of the job fair. Like I mentioned before, you can ask your question in the chat. It's a little bit easier, and then I'll read it to the group. Otherwise, people are talking over each other, and you might not get the airtime you deserve. To make things easier, I'll encourage the members of our team to unmute so they can chime in if they want to respond to one of the questions. And I also have a list of questions people submitted with their RSVPs, so I'll ask those as well. And at the very end, Jacob and I will stay online when the rest of the team leaves. So if you have really specific questions about your qualifications or your situation specifically, you can save those until then, and then it's a little bit easier for Jacob to kind of field those questions. So one of the questions I got through the RSVPs was, what opportunities do we have for someone from outside of Canada, and how do we work with the Atlantic immigration pilot?
So I guess that one's for me. So I think honestly, the easiest way, it's really hard for us to work one-to-one. There's a lot of work involved if you're not in the country already. So I've been working with 3 immigration agencies. I actually have a phone call with one this afternoon called Port to Port. But the other way that you could do it is to work with ISANS, ISANS .ca. Go to their website, and they work with a lot of people that are coming into the country, and then they would work with us and guide us through that process.
I just popped that web address in the chat too, if anyone wants to type it up.
Perfect.
Janice is just going to pop off for a minute and rejoin us. Thanks for letting us know. So another question I had was, Jacob, you touched on the benefits a little bit. Yeah, you did. Yeah. The next one was, what are the shifts like, 8 or 12 hours?
We have both shifts of 8 and 12 hours. For CCAs, our full-time shifts are mostly 12 hours, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our evening shifts are mainly 3 to 11, so they would be the 8-hour shifts. And overnight, we have some 12s and 8s. And I'm Jackie. I'm a nursing service manager. Hello.
In the chat is asking, can you just explain the process again if someone was coming with a healthcare aid certification from Alberta to become a CCA here?
Yeah, so again, you've got to go through that prior learning assessment process, and you can find more about that on the CCA registry website, which I believe is novascotiacca.ca. And there's an application form there. And if we have your email address, we could certainly send that to you. And you would enroll in there. What they would do is they would look at the courses that you took for your certification. And then it's kind of like going from university to university, right? If you're at one university and you transfer to another, they will assess what you took at the previous university to basically give you credit for some of that. So that's what they would do is you would go into this PLAR process. They would determine if you need any additional modules to actually qualify for the Nova Scotia CCA certificate. And you would enroll in that and actually go through that education plan. And that, when you get so far into that, then we would be able to hire you as a CCA. And then you have 2 years in which to actually achieve the CCA certification. If you don't achieve that within the 2 years, we're no longer allowed to keep you employed.
And someone asked if we offer permanent positions or contract. As far as I know, we have it would only be like admin positions that are contract most of the time, right, Jacob?
Yeah, and I won't even say that. Like we have, I guess for non-union staff, we have an employment contract. But again, there's no end date on it. It's just a contract of employment, which outlines your benefits, your responsibilities, our responsibilities, and all that. No, we don't call it permanent, because permanent gives the implication that you never leave, or we can't terminate you for like bad sick time leave or something like that. So we call it regular, but all of our positions are regular except for ones that would be considered temporary. And what I mean by temporary is someone is in a regular position, let's say it's full time, and they go out on parental leave. So they're out for a year. Well, then their position becomes available while they're out as a temporary position. Because when they come back off of their leave, they go back into their position, and then you move back to yours. But yeah, all positions would be regular, other than if you get hired as a casual. Casual employees are not in the union currently. At the Birches, there is a difference there that casual employees for RNs are in the union down there, but that's the only exception.
Thanks, Jacob.
You're welcome.
Someone asked in the RSVPs if we use the Eden approach, and we don't specifically use the Eden approach, but maybe Selena or Jackie could talk a little bit more about how we might be similar to Eden. I don't know a lot about it personally.
I can do that. I'll try my best. We'll see how we go. So Eden is actually something that it's a program that's specific. You have to go through all these steps to be declared Eden philosophy in your long-term care home. But Eden is like a way of life as well. So it provides a lot of choice and opportunity to the resident to lead and guide and have a say in everything that they do. It encourages more like an environment that has a home-like feel. So I'm not going to go in as a caregiver and wake you up at 7 o'clock in the morning and say, breakfast is 8, we're going to get ready. You know, like I want you to have a good sleep, because if I wake you up, it could be a bad day. So I'm setting a tone for your day. So I would like to encourage you to get up for breakfast, but I'm going to let you move at your own pace, that sort of thing. So Eden also tries to take away from the institutionalized feel of a nursing home, because this is technically supposed to be their home. So you want to have that home-like feature. When I'm in my house, I get up when I want to. I can go get something to eat when I want to. So here at Ocean View, we have kitchenettes on the neighborhoods where if someone indicates that they're hungry or want a snack or a drink or coffee, tea, whichever, and we will serve booze if doctor ordered. So they can have their glass of wine with their meal if they want to, if it's safe for them to have that. So they have that opportunity to express that need, and it's quickly available to them. They may not be able to go into the kitchen and personally cook those items, but the staff can access it for them. I think I access most of the Eden stuff, but like I said, Eden's more like a way of life, living in a care location. So it's just making sure that you understand and respect the rights that all these residents have, understand and respect their disease as well, that there are things that are going to happen that they can't control. So it's incorporating all that into a bigger picture and with their care plan so that you're meeting all their needs to the best of their abilities.
Yeah. I think the other thing to note, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, Eden is trademarked. And it's an actual program that someone developed, and now they sell it.
Yeah.
So Selena said, you know, you have to take these courses, the home has to go through inspections, and then when you're all done and your staff are trained and the home is, you know, redeveloped, if that's what needs to happen, then you actually get a certificate saying that you're a certified Eden home. So you can still achieve a lot of those goals, as Selena said, without actually going into that particular program and paying those fees, right? But everyone hears Eden and oh, are you Eden? Are you Eden? And you can be Eden without actually being Eden.
Yeah,
and I think
it's a philosophy, really.
Yeah.
And I think that we incorporate a lot of the Eden philosophies within Ocean View. Our residents are very important to us. Our residents come first. We try to give as much autonomy to our residents that we, as is possible. They have choices according to what they might like to wear, or, first choice, second choice in a meal, do you want to eat now, or, that kind of thing. So I think, and our basic philosophy is comfort, care, and compassion for our residents and our staff as well. So I think we incorporate a lot of the Eden.
And we're always trying to evolve things. I mean, when I first started at Ocean View 18 years ago, meal service, for example, was, the dietary staff went down and they served 32 residents in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
2 staff went down with a hot food cart and plated up 32 meals and moved on to the next neighborhood and did the next 32 people. And then they went back to the kitchen, and that's where they spent the majority of their day until the next meal, which was 15 minutes. Now, it didn't mean that the residents had only 15 minutes to eat, but the serving period is only 15 minutes. We spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars renovating our kitchens, all 6 of them. And now we also changed our staffing models. So our diet aides are now actually on those neighborhoods in those kitchens for the majority of their shift now. So if someone comes out and needs something, or they have a late breakfast or whatnot. So we're always looking at innovative ways to meet the needs of the residents and achieve Eden-like philosophy. Yeah.
And I would say all of that is true at the Birches as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And I know we had mentioned that we do have 8 and 12-hour shifts. Is that true at the Birches also? Yeah. Okay, perfect. And Rebecca's asking if the CCA position is union at the Birches as well, and it is.
It is, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're in an actual position, the only way that you're not in the union is if you're casual.
Right.
And casuals are not guaranteed any shifts.
Through the RSVP, someone asked, just in general, do CCAs get to enjoy the social side of life with residents as well as care? So would either of the neighborhood managers be able to speak to that?
Well, on my area, it's some days like a party. Yeah. We have music blaring, we're dancing around, we're having a good time with them. The staff, when we're short-staffed, it's a reality of long-term care. The staff band together, they get the tasks done, and then the actual work and job starts. And that's spending the time with your resident, doing the one-on-ones, the reminiscing, the being a bunch of silly people out in the dining room, dancing around, listening to music. Right now, especially during all this COVID nonsense, it's really, really important because these guys can't see their families as much as they used to. So we really need to try to take that extra time to have the one-on-ones with them, or join them in a smaller group and do an activity like a puzzle, or just chat or have a cup of tea with them. We do have rec programmers as well who are doing programs, and what they're allowed to do has just slowly started to increase recently because of the restrictions are sort of lifting in some areas. So activities are allowed to be reincorporated. So they're, for example, now going out on our bus. So we have a bus that accommodates, I think, 12 residents, maybe a little bit more. So
it's
the
12
residents,
wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get to go out on the bus and they can go for a scenic drive. And while they're out, they'll pick up ice cream or Timbits and coffee or something like that. And in the winter, they do Christmas light drives. And so there's lots of opportunities for that too. But it's just, again, making sure that you take the time. And you can take that time during care. You can take that time when you're assisting someone with their meal. So it's just making the best of the moment and the time that you have with that person. And then when you do have free time, go be silly. Go have fun with them. Take them for a walk if you can.
I think the other thing you want to mention there, Selena, is your wandering garden.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm the manager for our secured specialty care dementia area. So a lot of my residents have dementia at some level, but the reason why they're in a secured area is because they're a safety risk in the sense that if they were to walk outside of this building, they wouldn't know after 3 steps to turn around and come back through that door. They would get out, they would get lost, they couldn't find their way home. The rest of our building is non-secured, and those residents have the ability to get back safely to their home base. So on my secured area, I do have 2 courtyards, but I do have a secured walking garden full of lovely little plants, and every single plant in my walking garden is edible. I don't encourage it, but it's edible, so it's safe. It's on the back side of our building, so it does offer the view of the ocean, and it's all cast iron fencing that is really tall. I don't know how tall it is. Might be 12 feet. But it gives them an opportunity to go outside, to walk around. The garden's set up with pavement, so there's little walking paths. It's not a huge garden, but they can walk circles. There's benches. If they want to do actual gardening, which we do have some residents that go out, they'll like pick weeds or help fluff the plants or whatever. So that provides a lot of happiness for them as well, that they get to do those things. And then on the other side, where our courtyards are, we have gardening boxes. And when you think about the population that you're dealing with, that was a very common pastime for this generation, was to do gardening and make things look pretty. And we have residents that'll participate in housekeeping tasks. They will clean the tables after the meal. They'll help clear dishes. They'll help make beds. Like my housekeepers are super, super involved with the residents. They definitely involve them in their daily tasks of the job. I do have one resident who, unfortunately, because of COVID, can't participate, who goes to work every day with one of our maintenance guys. Yeah. And my maintenance guy will come down just after breakfast. My resident is all dressed in his maintenance work gear, steel-toed boots, like the family really supports the program. Glenn comes down, meets up with the resident, picks them up for work, brings them back for their lunch break, and then brings them back at the end of the day. And this brings a lot of joy and pleasure to that resident's day, because he's going to work. And it's something that matches a lifestyle he had before he moved in.
Yeah.
And he's actually quite helpful.
He's very good at what he does.
Yeah. It's not something that we just do and it's like, okay, he's going to bog us down, but we put up with it, because no, that's not the case in any way, shape, or form. He's actually quite helpful to the maintenance guy. Yeah.
Leanne, do you want to talk a little bit briefly about the social side of life at the Birches with residents and care staff and everybody?
Sure. We're very much like Selena. At the Birches, we are about a quarter of the size of Ocean View, so we only house 41 residents. We have 3 separate wings that they reside in, so we are a lot smaller than Ocean View, but mighty in power with our staff and our residents. So very much the same. When you walk through the front door, the record player is usually on. There's a couple residents sitting around. Our housekeeping staff, maintenance staff, even our dietary are very involved as well in all of the residents' lives. And we encourage it. We encourage them to come out of their kitchens, to come out of their spaces and interact with the residents. Ocean View talks about the family-like feel, and being in a small community as we are in Musquodoboit Harbor, we're very much community-fed, community-driven, and family-like. So yeah, all of the things that you've heard at Ocean View, you're going to experience at the Birches as well.
And while the Ocean View actually has this fantastic view of the ocean, the Birches is actually surrounded by trees.
We are.
It's just gorgeous down there, I have to say, and very quiet, very pleasant. And they also have a gazebo out behind the home, and they have walking paths and a little garden as well, and it's all fenced in. So now their home is actually locked on a regular basis. So there's no actual dementia ward. The residents are just peppered throughout the facility. But yeah, they've got a beautiful facility down there as well. It's older, for sure, but we've done a lot of upgrades in the last couple of years, and more to come outside.
Yeah, all of our pathways outside in our gardens have just actually been revamped. We've had new paving, made them wider so it's easier to get the wheelchairs outside and in the gardens. Yeah, so we're doing improvements slowly and surely to make things that better home-like feel.
Does anyone else have any questions? Kind of general questions?
Actually, I was just wondering if while those are coming in, maybe Jackie and Krista, you wanted to talk a little bit about your areas as well?
Sure. My areas are specifically, I have some dementia residents and some medical residents with medical issues. My areas they're not like Selena's. Mine are more moderate to mild dementia. So our residents are more involved in their care. They're wonderful. We can, laugh and joke and carry on with residents, and we have a really good time. Krista.
And so I'm Krista Stewart, and I manage 2 of the neighborhoods here at Ocean View. And the neighborhoods that I manage are similar to Jackie. They're a bit smaller, so there's 26 residents per floor, and it would be there's mixed dementia throughout the facility. But the residents that would live on these neighborhoods are not residents who are at risk for exiting the building. So very similar to Jackie's, some medical conditions, and yeah, so it's a fun place to work, and a lot of the residents are you can develop relationships, and they're here for mobility reasons. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
So I guess we can kind of wrap up the general Q&A session. So like I mentioned, at this time, Jacob and I will stay online for a little while longer if you have any like really specific questions about your qualifications or your situation. But if you already have a secured interview time slot and you don't have any more questions, you can feel free to log off. And the other members of our team can also log off. And thanks so much, guys.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Guys.
So we'll just give a second for people to log off who would like to.